there's another guy that you had a lot of matches with, Pedro Morales.
Oh, yeah, glad you touched on him. Yeah, Pedro was, a lot of guys didn't like working with him because he would throw him in the ropes and he'd throw that big belly punch. That was kind of almost his finish, He'd throw you into the ropes, you'd come running off, bam, and he would hit you as hard as he could. And that was pretty much the end of the match because you couldn't move after that. But Pedro, just a gem of a guy. And I worked with him. My first run into WWF was with Backlund, and then the Chief Jay Strongbow thing where I broke his leg. Then I came back, and so we did an angle with Pedro Morales, and we didn't want to do the figure four thing again because his legs were so big I probably couldn't got him on. But I suplexed him on the cement floor where we did the interviews there in Allentown for WWF Network TV, and so they carried him off in a stretcher. So that was my angle. And Vince McMahon used to tease Pedro, oh, here comes Pedro, he's going to talk about his back again. But that was the angle, where I suplexed him on the cement floor. It looked good, and I protected him, and I remember I screwed up my elbow really bad because protecting his head, which I had to do, and it hurt for quite a while. But it was all good, and I love the matches I had with Pedro, and you can bring those up on YouTube, and they're good matches. But every match he had to throw me in and give me that big punch, and I felt it from the tip of my head down to the tip of my toes. Oh! But that was kind of like his finish. I think that was his finish, then he would cover you, but yeah.
But that move too, it kind of brings back what you were saying before. You did that one suplex on the outside and you had a whole angle with it. But nowadays that might just be a spot in the match and then they would just kind of maybe continue. But
that's so crazy, especially taking a bump out like that. But on a cement, a lot of times they got padding. Well, most of the time all the time they got padding all the way around the ring. And back then we didn't have that. So I think he was having an interview with Vince, and I came out and attacked him and suplexed him on the floor. Like I said, I hurt my elbow to protect his head, but that was a real bump. That was a hard bump, and it probably did hurt him a little bit. But that's what you wanted. And nowadays you see guys getting up and getting in the ring, but they have that padding. They have that wrestling mat going all the way around, not the cement floor. So that was a good angle, and he was the Intercontinental Champion at the time, and I thought I would maybe get a chance to get the belt from him, but it didn't happen. But it was all good. It was all good.
You think they were waiting to give it to you later on when you came back?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I came in, that was my second run in and out there. Each time I went back to the Carolinas, back then you could do that, So when I came back in '84, George Scott, who was my good friend and mentor, Anna Booker, he went from Charlotte and he went up to work for Vince McMahon. He was Vince's booker. And Tito had the belt at the time, and they were gonna drop it to Paul Orndorff, and Orndorff kept missing shows or something. I don't want to talk about. By the way, he passed away, and he was a good friend of mine, but he missed a few bookings, and they don't like that. And George was big time Greg Valentine. He pushed for me a lot, and he says, let's put because Tito had a bad leg. I'm getting ahead of myself. Tito needed an operation. He had a bad knee. And they go, well, he goes, Greg's got that figure four leg lock. It would be awesome. Do it on television and have him break Tito's leg on television. And because he's got the bad leg and needs surgery anyway. And we did it up in Canada, and it was really set up right because I beat Tito just with like a schoolboy or a roll-up or something. I beat him just a 1, 2, 3 and won the belt from him there. It was a title match on television up there in Canada somewhere. And started with a B, Brandon, something like that. Anyway, so after the match was over, I attacked him afterwards. So this is like really good heat. He's hobbling around, and I attacked him. And then I put the figure 4 on him and re-broke his leg. And then they stretchered him out. So I'd already won the belt. There was no reason to be sadistic like that and nail him and put the figure 4 on him again, or hadn't even done it yet. After the match, after I'd already won. So that was George's idea and Vince's idea. Boy, that got a lot of heat on me. Then they see Tito for real at a hospital getting operated on, and he's sedated, and he's going, I'm going to, but it was done well. Where I'm going to get you, Valentine, and no, that was Pedro. I'm going to get you, Valentine. But Tito would say, Greg Valentine, you broke my leg, and they'd show the operation. They actually saw him being wheeled off down the hallway to the operating room, and it was, man, we sold out everywhere for at least a year and a half. Then I chased him after he finally won it in Baltimore, and I took his belt, grabbed the belt when it came in, and I beat the hell out of the belt on the cage and mutilated it. But they told me to do that because they were going to give him a new belt. So a lot of people had asked me about that belt. You sell that belt? I said, Tito came in the ring after I hustled out of there, and he grabbed it like a baby, and he's like crying, oh, you beat my belt up. It was a good deal. So I asked Tito a few years ago, I said, whatever happened to that belt? He go, oh, my wife threw it in the trash. Can you imagine? That'd be worth $100,000 today or something. Or just to have, I could have left with the belt and put that mutilated thing on my wall as a badge of honor at home in my home office, but it's gone. Threw it in the trash. I wonder if anybody ever found it. They would come out if they ever found it. It's buried in some hole where they dig the trash and bury it there in Staten Island.
Some landfill out there?
Yeah, all the landfills are in Staten Island. And most of them are in Staten Island because there's a big area in South Staten Island that's where I saw them for years, landfilling. There's no homes around there. But you can see all the birds flying around. So.
Man, what could have been, right? With that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Jesus. Yeah, that's and that was probably the biggest, best intercontinental feud of that entire decade. I mean, that's the one people still remember.
Yeah, they always wanted to cut the feuds off, but ours would. I actually chased Tito for the belt for a long time before we did that angle up in Canada. And so I had a run with him, did real good with him, probably put him over on a lot of these or got DQ'd. Especially out in California, we did a lot of shows in L.A. at the old Olympic Auditorium and then Cow Palace and all over the West Coast and Phoenix and stuff and San Diego and all over the place. And then when I grabbed the belt from him, then we were out and running again. So it was like 2 years of constant, maybe almost 3 years working with Tito. And we never talked. We knew what the ending was going to be, but sometimes we would change that up. And, we didn't talk. He was a picture-perfect person to work with. One other guy was Ricky Steamboat. He never had to talk to him either. It was just that natural flow. And the people could sense that, you know. It was just a natural flow, and it was. Piper was like that too. I worked with Roddy. It was, you know, I watched some of the old matches on YouTube, me and Piper and stuff, even way before the dog collar, and those matches were just jam up and jelly tight, and they were so. And we threw a lot of potatoes, you know. Potatoes means good shots. Ooh, what a potato! But we tried not to knock each other's teeth out, you know. We need the teeth, right?
Yeah.